This is the Vinfast VF7, which is priced from rupees 23.17 lakhs. But this one is the top end in the Sky Infinity, which is priced at rupees 28.49 lakhs on road Mumbai, which is actually good pricing because this car has 350 freaking horsepower, which is kind of crazy. Anyways, this is the key of the vehicle. Sound the alarm, unlock the car, lock the car, and this is to open the boot of the vehicle. This car is available in 5 variants, and straight away let's open the frunk. Not really, no frunk here, because the electric motor is right there, the front electric motor. That is the regular battery of the vehicle. Meanwhile, there is no insulation here. However, this is extremely heavy. Bang, it closes. Yeah, that was heavy. That hurt right into the, whatever. Anyways, you can see the V-shape DRL, which obviously has the welcome and goodbye animation as well. Looks super cool at night. You get the Vinfast logo here, front parking camera, piano black finishing, gloss finishing here on the bumper, and a different kind of finishing right here with this cuts. And this is actually the radar for ADAS, plastic right there. And obviously, you get the towing hook, provision for the towing hook, 4 parking sensors at the front, and this is the indicator. Meanwhile, this is the main light, which is both for the low beam as well as high beam. This is on low beam, and on high beam it obviously becomes brighter. You get an active aero curtain, which is big, which is actually gathering some kachra. Unfortunately, this car has got level 2 ADAS, because of which you obviously get the lane keep assist camera and obviously the rain sensor as well. In terms of design, well, it looks quite nice. However, it is more crossover than SUV, which might not be such a good thing for the Indian market. Coming to the side of the vehicle, well, it is 4.55 meters long, which is decent length. And get this sloping roofline. Wheelbase is 2.84 meters, which is actually the biggest in the segment. The wheels are also big. They've actually downsized from 20 inches to 19 inches for Indian market, which is again a good thing. 245, 50, 19 is the size of the tires. This is finished in black. The base variant actually has silver finishing on the alloy wheels. It actually looks nice, but this finish here throughout the car, which is obviously piano black or gloss black, is obviously susceptible to getting scratched. Car makers are doing that, I don't know why. Camera here, what is this? I don't know. And you get indicator here. The mirror design is nice. See how it's finished in black? Yeah, because this is not a dual tone color, but I don't know why this is finished in black. Anyways, you get roof rails, which don't seem to be functional, and because the design is such, it actually looks like a floating roof treatment. So yeah, they have done a great job in terms of the design of the vehicle. Coming to the rear, the typical Vinfast tail light, which obviously has the V right there, like the V design, and it also has the welcome and goodbye animation. VF7 branding here, no dynamic swipe indicators, gloss finish on the bumper. You get 4 parking sensors, and then you get a lot of plastic finishing as well. Yeah, this is born electric, or so they say. The camera is placed right below the Vinfast logo. And straight away, let's open the boot. I press a button and there it opens because it is a power tailgate. 537 liters is the size of the boot, which is decent sized. Meanwhile, below here, you get a few things. Like, for instance, you get the tire inflator, tire sealant, first aid kit, which obviously looks very cheap. That is the towing hook, warning triangle, and some more stuff. Meanwhile, here you see there's a provision for a spare tire, but it doesn't get it. That is actually the chassis number, weird position for it to be put. And here you get a hook, some storage space here, some storage space here, another hook right there, and obviously you can fold the seat in 60-40 format to increase the boot carrying capacity. Because it's powered, I press a button and there it shuts. Bye, band ho ja aaj. Yeah, there it shuts. It obviously gets a rear spoiler here with a high mounted stop lamp and a rear wiper washer as well, which is kind of hidden, and you obviously get the shark fin antenna too. Now let's get into the rear. See the door handles, they're quite quirky here, and there are no sun blinds at the rear. You get this soft material here as well, but hard plastics are there obviously, and that is the tweeter. Let's do the bottle test. Well, a bottle actually fits in here, which is good. The seats look nice and comfortable. In fact, this is completely reclined, that is completely upright, so it has a 2-step recline as well, and this is also hard. You get magazine pockets here. In terms of footroom, it's decent. Could be better. This seat could be slightly up, so I could slide my foot right below the seat. Legroom and knee room is actually good enough. Under thigh support is not that great, and headroom is actually good. That's nice. Meanwhile, you have a handle here, well damped, light placement here, no height adjustable seat belts, rear AC vents, 2 USB-A charging sockets, a 90-watt USB-C charging socket, some storage space here as well. The floor is obviously flat because born electric, which means center passenger who has a head rest is comfortable. Get a center armrest with twin cup holders as well. That's nicely done. You get this massive panoramic glass roof, moon roof, not a sunroof because this does not open, and there is no sunshade, which is not such a good thing for India because obviously it will make the cabin a sauna. However, I think Vinfast is offering a sunshade for initial customers. The seats are really nice and comfortable. You get ISOFIX child seat mounts, and overall quality is quite nice. Meanwhile, the dashboard will remind you of the Vinfast VF6. Similar treatment of relying completely on the touchscreen for almost every function. Let's get out and let me throw this bottle ahead. Meanwhile, one touch up and down power windows. Yeah, that's right, one touch. And the best thing is it has got anti-pinch. It has to get anti-pinch if it is going to be one touch up. So that's nice. Doors also open wide enough, and let's bang close them. Yeah, build quality seems actually quite good. Let's open this where the charging happens. It doesn't have this flap to cover it. Usually electric cars have a flap for the rear part, but no, this one does not have it at all. And the quality of the wipers, they also seem quite nice. So I'm impressed on that front. But there's a reflector there. It's a weird position to have a reflector, but this car has it anyways. Straight away, let's step inside. Before that, let me show you that it has 190 mm of ground clearance. I think they've increased the ground clearance for India because obviously they have to. It has 7 airbags, so there's an airbag here. I don't know why this panel is not properly fit, and you get a proper dead pedal as well. Door pockets at the front are not that big somehow. Yeah, you can put a 1 liter bottle, but other than that, I mean, it's a little difficult to put stuff inside. Again, hard plastics everywhere, but soft material here, soft material here. This is actually vegan leather. Yes, vegan leather on the dashboard as well as the seats to be environment friendly. In fact, this seems to have come from BMW. So have the stocks. Yeah, this is actually a BMW stock because initial Vinfast cars were just rebranded 5 Series and X5. That was long back when they were making ICE cars. Now they only make electric. Illumination is there. One touch up and down for all the power windows. But where are the buttons? No buttons here. Absolutely no buttons in this car. Seat is nice and comfortable. It has an 8-speaker sound system which has decent audio quality. See this? There's some storage space here which is not easy to access. It has the D-cut steering wheel, or that's how they like to call it, but that's such a Hyundai term. Hyundai calls these cut steering wheels to their cars, on their cars, whatever. And see, the design treatment is carried forward everywhere. They are obsessed with this particular design. See, when you accelerate also, you see how much power and how much braking is happening on this particular DRL shaped bar. Auto dimming mirror here, light placement here on the top. In fact, there is no light placement on the rear because it's there on the side. Obviously, here you get a mirror as well as a light. Same is the case here as well. You get a mirror along with a light, and this does not extend. It is pretty much fixed. It gets connected car, but there is no instrument cluster, because of which they have given a heads-up display, which is actually very easy to read, and it gives you a lot of information like what's the battery percentage. You can change that to what's the distance to empty the battery, and obviously the speedometer and the gear position. And AC vents have this continuous treatment as well, which is kind of nice. So got some storage space here, 2 USB-A charging sockets, no USB-C at the front. This one will actually connect to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are also wireless here. You get cup holders here, lock the car, volume controller, physical switch, hazard light button, but it's a bit too behind. And here you've got some storage space where you have the Tata Sierra key. That's nice. Again, I like the fact how this is so nice and comfortable because it seems premium here. Yeah, that's quite premium, but obviously it cannot slide ahead and behind. The glove box is decent size but doesn't get the cooling function, and the manual is around 358 pages. Yeah, 338 pages or something of that sort. Let's shut this. Lot of hard plastics everywhere on the dashboard, on the top, below. But then this soft touch material has been given as well. Now, this wireless charger has this cooling vent as well, so that your phone doesn't burn. And these are piano type switches. So obviously this is for the gear selector, and this is the EPB, electric parking brake. It has got auto hold as well, and this is the favorite button, so you can actually decide what you want to link it to. Not really, you can only link it to one thing, which is the drive mode. AC vent placement here, if you notice, this is actually tilted towards the driver, which makes it a very driver centric cabin. But then if you're the passenger, it's a little difficult for you to operate this. This is the driver monitor, which obviously reads you and understands if you're trying to sleep or not. Automatic wipers, automatic headlights or not, I don't know, you tell me. And the horn is actually nice. If I press this button, it doesn't really work because it says features unavailable in your country. So I think that is basically the feature for voice commands. But let's know, I don't know what this feature is for, because voice commands actually work here. Hey Vinfast,
please give me specific commands as turn on the air conditioning for me, or check who is calling.
Okay, lady, that's it. Nothing. I don't want to talk to you. Okay, we'll talk later. So, heated steering has been given. This is for cruise control. I mean, all the buttons here are for cruise control. This is for the audio system. That's about it. And the steering wheel is adjustable. Yeah, both for reach as well as rake, which is a nice thing. Little effort is needed actually. Now this screen is a 12.9-inch screen, which is the same as Volkswagen screens of say the Tiguan line and obviously the Golf as well. So a lot of parts are coming from China, where Volkswagen also has a tie-up with SAIC. And obviously we know that Vietnam is not a big manufacturing hub as such. Straight away, let me start playing this game because we have gaming apps here. EVs have to have that. Chal na bhai, meko Panvel nikalna hai. What is happening? I kind of stalled. I don't know. Oh, this is accelerating so slowly. What do you want me to do? Oh, this is how it works. And now I'm going to do this flippy, floppy. I need to upshift. What the fluff? Can't this game be a little easier? Can't I drive an automatic? And I'm just going to topple it up like that. NCAP test done right in front of you. Let me come out of this. Now everything is reliant on the screen. You have a calendar here, audio system and all those controls. Whatever changes here, because this is like your instrument cluster, which is very much fixed. So even Apple CarPlay, when you connect, it's just still here. Now air conditioning, well, you have to operate it from here. Obviously no physical buttons, and it has a dual zone climate control air conditioning system. This is the sliding bar for the fan speed, and it has an ionizer with a PM1 filter. The base variant doesn't have that PM1 filter. It has an ionizer though. This is for seat ventilation. Yeah, you can just turn it off from here. Oh my god, seat ventilation works really nicely. So air conditioning works right here. Now let me come out of this because we obviously have a lot of other things which I can go through. So for starters, there's a web browser here, and let me come out of the web browser because I think internet is not connected at the moment. And then you have these games. There's Nancy Drew, Sugar Pop and all those things. This Baja Big Air is what we were playing recently. You come into the owner's manual here because it has a digital owner's manual. It says you are offline, so you can see things right here, which is kind of nice because who wants to go through a book? Because now everything can be searched on Google. So who's going to actually go through a book as such? The widgets are actually nicely placed, and then there's an EV menu which tells you how much battery is there and what's the charging status and all those things. Charging door is unlocked. You can obviously decide what is the level indicator, in the sense that, you know, when a notification should come when a battery percentage falls below a certain level. You can decide the AC charging schedule and all those things. But the interesting part is into the settings. When you come, there are a lot of things. Obviously there is Wi-Fi, which is turned off at the moment. Voice assistant is there. Close all the windows. There are themes which are not dramatically different. So I put the Vinfast theme. You just put the minimal theme right now, and it obviously changes the color. So it's not very different. We can go for the light theme as well, which also looks quite nice. And then you come into security. You have a valet mode wherein you can set the speed between 80 to 145 kilometers per hour. It's a bit high. There's theft alert, obviously GPS monitoring, connected car hai, so you can do geofencing and all that as well. Here you can change a lot of things. So when you come into reverse, these mirrors will auto tilt. Yes, it has the auto tilt function. In fact, it has heating as well. So that's nice. Power fold, power adjust, all those things. But how do you adjust them? Very difficult actually. So you come into this menu here, and then you decide which mirror you want to adjust. So I want to adjust the right mirror, and then using these switches, I adjust the mirror, which is very Tesla-like, but it's not the easiest to operate. I mean, why complicate things so much? Makes no sense whatsoever. So you can come into these sub menus and make changes right here. Like if you want the wiper to be automatically activated when you get into reverse, you turn on the wireless charger. As I was telling you, a quick access button can only be for the drive mode, nothing else. That's about it. Kind of weird. And then you have the light control, heads up display brightness, you can adjust from here. So all these settings are actually well laid out. In fact, the vehicle name is something I have put because by mistake I did that. I was just so drowsy today. Sometimes my genius is almost frightening. Anyways, coming to this particular menu here, you see the speed, what's the distance to empty, which mode you are in, auto hold is activated, electric parking brake is activated, which drive mode you are in right now, and it tells me to fasten seat belts. Here in this menu, I can open the power tailgate from here. I can decide how I want the wipers to function. In this menu, I can obviously adjust the outside rear view mirrors, and I can also make changes to the heads up display, like what is the color I want. So I'm just going to put the cyan one, which is just easier to see. And then you have the light controls here. This is for the rear fog. I don't know why it's so complicated. The rear fog is only on one side, and then I can come into car mode. So there are 3 drive modes: eco, normal and sport, and there are 4 regen modes, and there are these other modes like camp mode. There's a pet mode which basically turns on the air conditioning and flashes this message so that people know that you have not kept your dog inside the car in heat because of the greenhouse effect. It can obviously be damaging to the dog, but yeah, it has this mode again, very Tesla type. And then you have wash mode as well if you want to wash your car. Air conditioning is actually quite nice here. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't expect it to be such a chiller, but it works, and it works quite well, which actually brings me to the next best thing, which is driving preferences. So there's creep mode, there's auto hold, auto parking, and here you get into tire burning mode because ESC and TCS can be completely turned off as well. Now let's come into the camera function of this car. Where is the camera? There is the button for the camera. It has a 360-degree parking camera. So there's the front view, this is the rear view, this is the side view, actually front side, rear side, and all those views are there. And this is the 360-degree parking view. Camera is actually quite nice in terms of quality. Yeah, that's nice as well. And then I can just change the brightness from here. Overall, I think they have done a good job in terms of trying to make things simple and easy. You take some time to get used to it, but come on, there should have been an instrument cluster, because every time you have to do anything, you have to look into the screen. That's the reason they've given a heads-up display as such. But how is this car to drive? Because 350 horsepower is crazy. Let's go. Alright, it's time to start driving. I'll show you a quirky thing. Okay, I come into reverse. Okay, we are in reverse. You can see the transparent bonnet view. Yes, that can be enabled or disabled. And now if I try to get out of this menu, I can't do that at all, because for safety reasons the camera will be on when you are in reverse. However, I can actually come into the air conditioning control. So let's turn on the air conditioning, and this whole thing of having touch buttons for the seat ventilation is not good at all. I don't like it. So air conditioning off, and straight away I come into sport drive mode, and then I have to make changes. Okay, we are in reverse, so obviously it will not let me go through the whole menu, but I need to make changes, which means that I come into this particular mode. Yeah, it can get a bit complex when what I'm trying to do. Yeah, now I want to turn off traction control. So when I turn off ESC, it automatically turns off traction control as well, and it has got auto hold. So obviously it has enabled that. Right now it's the time to give it the beans, which means left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and hazard lights off, and off we go. That's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.66 seconds, which is faster than Vinfast claim. That is amazing performance without a doubt. Yeah, splendid acceleration, because obviously this car has a lot of performance on offer. But before that, let me talk about a few things which I missed. First and foremost, it has got a tire pressure monitoring system, and again, you know, things are so confusing. I have to come into the service menu here to be able to see the tire pressure monitor, which is actually a good thing. Well, now the seat I'm sitting on is an 8-way powered seat, but the co-driver should have also got a powered seat, because the mechanism to actually turn the seat is a bit different. So, you know, instead of pulling the lever here, you have to pull it in the opposite direction. Talking about opposite direction, these stocks are also opposite direction. These are BMW stocks. Both of them are lifted from a BMW, for obvious reasons, that they were actually selling rebranded with makeup BMW cars, the 5 Series as well as the X5. When they started off, the old generation, which was discontinued, they just took the tooling there and started there. You can see the rear cross traffic alert, blind spot alert, and all those things obviously working here fantastically well. But there's actually a 12-volt charging socket here, which is kind of out of sight. I can't see it only. And this car does not have ambient lighting. It has got white footwell lighting, so that's another miss. Certain features could have been added at this price point, because obviously this segment has become quite competitive right now. Now the thing is that it obviously has an like level 2 ADAS with plenty of features which somehow work well. They seem to be well calibrated for India. But when you get into the ADAS menu now, it is actually showing you what you won't believe it. In the ADAS menu, it shows you how the ADAS works in a video format, not just in text telling you how whichever feature works. It tells you in video format as well. That's kind of cool. Now, oh my god, as soon as you get into the throttle, it accelerates with a lot of enthusiasm. This car has a 70.8 kilowatt hour battery pack, which actually gives it a claim range of 510 kilometers, which is kind of good. But in the real world, expect somewhere around 420, 430, which is also quite impressive. And you can feel that I'm crashing through the bumps, because the suspension is on the stiffer side, which doesn't mean good ride at low speeds, because it crashes over big potholes or big bumps. But as you speed up, it feels fantastic to drive. This car produces 350 horsepower. That's a lot of power, and 500 Newton meters of torque, and is able to put all that power down quite smoothly. So even though traction control is turned off at the moment, you don't feel the lack of grip because tires have decent grip. I think Apollo tires on this particular car. But the main thing is that it's able to put all that power down because it is all-wheel drive. Meanwhile, the front-wheel drive VF6 I driven, that used to scramble for traction and used to just screech its tires right, left and center. There's a VIP convoy going right now, overtaking me in a Range Rover, and obviously the Scorpio is right behind. Yeah, Scorpio, and it says Escort there, the Escort vehicle. Now, the weight of this car is quite a lot. Somehow you don't feel it. You know what's the weight of this car? It is a colossal 2,218 kgs, which is absolutely crazy, yeah. And because this is an EV, they have limited the top speed to 160 kilometers per hour in the interest of conserving battery. Yeah, they want to make sure that EV guys don't have the fun by having high top speed. Not really, but usually, like most electric brands, they just want to reduce the top speed. When I give an indicator, I hope there is a blind view, like a display there telling you what's in your blind view, but no, that doesn't happen here. Now, this car has got 3 drive modes. We are in sport drive mode. There is obviously eco, there's normal, there's sport, and all these modes, they actually alter what, you know, they alter the performance of the vehicle, and they also alter the steering weight, and the steering weight becomes much heavier when you come into sport drive mode, because that's how they have tuned it. And trust me on this, the steering feels quite nice here. It has a lot of heft to it, and high speed ride is also fantastic because this car obviously has a stiffer suspension which yields a great ride at high speeds. Feels nice to drive somehow. I didn't expect that. The steering is actually small. It's so chintu mintu, not really so chintu mintu also, but because the steering is like a small one, it feels really nice to pilot this car. It's quite fun. I didn't expect that. Okay, I'm just doing random wiper test. Lot of spray there. The horn, I love the horn. It is so freaking loud. It feels so I love the horn. I mean, it's the way horns should be done. Asian brands just do such a meek horn. This one has a great horn. Now, it has got 4 Regen modes. There's obviously off, low, mid and high. So in order to come to the Regen modes, all I have to do is just swipe from here. Yeah, and in terms of Regen, look, I've left the throttle right now, and it is actually well calibrated. It doesn't really slow down the car supremely fast. It does in a very measured way, even in high mode. And there's no one pedal driving because this car will not come to halt. We'll try and stop ahead so that I can show you that as well. So performance is actually very impressive, and one of the USPs of this car is obviously the performance and the way it drives. It actually drives really nicely. It drives like a European car. I did not expect that from a Vinfast. I'm like, okay, might be more like a Chinese car because China is nearer than Europe, obviously. But no, it actually is a fun car to drive. Now the thing is that Vinfast is offering 5 variants of this car. So there's Earth, there's Wind, and there is Sky. And Wind and Sky also come with a panoramic sunroof option known as the Infinity Sky Roof, which is the reason why there's a Wind Infinity and a Sky Infinity variant as well. So the base Earth variant actually has a smaller 59.6 kilowatt hour battery pack with 177 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. Naturally, with less power and less output, it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 9.1 seconds, and that is actually front wheel drive, just a single motor setup. So it charges from 10 to 70% in just 24 minutes, and it's actually 133 kgs lighter because obviously single electric motor, so it will be lighter. Claim range, what the fluff is this? Why is he in the center? So the claim, and that also halted, and there is no warning or hazard. But that guy, when it's raining, while moving, he'll turn on the hazard, but when he's halted in the center of the road, no hazards at all. So claim range there is 438 kilometers. Now coming to the mid-wind variant, that has the same 70.8 kilowatt hour battery pack, but that is also front wheel drive. So it has 204 PS of power and 310 Newton meters of torque with a claim range which is the best of 532 kilometers, because obviously lighter in weight because it's just front wheel drive setup. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.5 seconds there. Now I am trying to like use the one pedal to stop, so we are at around 70-60. Okay, it's stopping, it's coming to a halt, it's slowing down quite aggressively. Let me turn on the hazards. The hazard button is too far behind, it should be a bit ahead, and there I have not applied the brakes at all, and now it's going to start cruising at 8 kilometers per hour, gradually slowing down as well. No, I think it's just going to go at this speed, so I'm just going to stop here, and the time has come to launch it yet again. Let's reset this EV mode here so you can see the battery status. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and off we go. there's this motor wine which comes inside, and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.3 seconds. My goodness, this is a fast car. Yeah, this is actually quite fast. But to be fair, there was a slope of around 1%, because of which the car obviously accelerated much faster. Now let's quickly come to the charging times. AC charging supported up to 7.2 kilowatt, which is not that great because it should be able to charge at 11 kilowatt as well. We need to charge cars faster. Meanwhile, DC charging, it supports up to 110 kilowatt, with which it goes from 10 to 70% in 28 minutes. I don't know what is this parameter of measuring till 70%. You should measure till 80% because that's sort of the industry standard. Although the car comes with a 3.3 kilowatt 16 ampere socket. Yeah, that is the one it comes with. When I was charging this car, I realized that initially it was charging at faster speed beyond 90 kilowatt, and then slowly the speed decreased. So even when it was at 40-50% battery, it started charging at around 60-65% kilowatt, 60-65 kilowatt, not percent. See, so confusing talking about all these batteries and percentages. Long story short, what I'm trying to tell you is that the performance of charging is not consistent here, which is kind of surprising, or maybe the flow of electricity from the charger wasn't that consistent. And in the VF6, I think there was this V which was glowing when you charge. Here there is no V which glows, the Vinfast logo. Instead you have a small white dot which glows when the charging is enabled. But the real USP of this car is obviously the warranty. 10 years, 2 lakh kilometer warranty on the vehicle as well as on the battery, which is absolutely phenomenal. I think it's only for early bird buyers, and beyond which I think there will be a standard lower kilometer warranty. Probably I think 7 years 1.6 lakh kilometer for the vehicle, and 8 years 1.6 lakh kilometer for the battery, which is like the industry norm. While I was charging this car, there were a lot of MG ZSs there, mostly cabs and commercial operation vehicles. That guy's like, sir ये टेस्ला है क्या? And I'm like, no dude, this is not a Tesla. बोलते हैं कौन सी गाड़ी है? सर बहुत दिखती है मेरे को, यहाँ पे बहुत दिख रही है इस लोकेशन में. So obviously because of the stellar value for money, this car is definitely selling in great numbers. Anyways, it's the time to do the brake test, which means hazard lights on at around 70. I step on the brakes. Brakes are actually very impressive. I'm quite surprised how good the brakes are, because there's very little sound which comes from the brakes. Usually now there is this juddering which happens and ABS becomes oversensitive. Not like that here, and off we go. Now it's going to take slightly longer because obviously we are going uphill. 5.6 seconds with a 1.4% slope. Performance is superb here. I don't know why Vinfast is underquoting numbers, because Vinfast claims it goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.8 seconds. It's much faster than that. Yeah, it is obviously much faster, and because there's no sound as such in an electric car, you can obviously hear a lot of the wind, you can hear a lot of the tire noise as well. But overall, insulation levels are good, but the performance is mind-blowing. It is phenomenal. It's so damn freaking fast. Making a quick overtake is absolutely effortless in this car, and it's just that the ride is on the firm side. Handling is decent. The long wheelbase really doesn't assist when coming around tight corners, but body roll is well in check, and oh my goodness, I am quite surprised how good this car is to drive. I never expected that to happen. It just feels so good in terms of performance, in terms of overall feel, because this thing is on the stiffer side, and because of the stiffness obviously there is some driving feel as well. But big bumps really affect the car at lower speed, so that's where you have to be a bit careful. You have to slow down, because it's not very comfortable when you try to drive fast over bumps at lower speeds. And then obviously it's telling me there's someone in my blind spot. So this actually brings me to something I was really meaning to talk since a long time. Vinfast is a very new brand, just 8 years old, and obviously fit finish levels are not the best because there are certain panel gaps here and there. But trust me, there's a car brand which is making cars since 26 years, has not been able to figure out proper quality control and all those things. But Vinfast is way better than them. I don't know how. I'm obviously not going to name the brand because I'm not here about talking about which brand I'm talking about. But the thing is, that brand is making good cars, but still is not able to give consistent quality, not able to give great reliability, not able to give a great sales service experience as well. And the good thing about Vinfast is they're starting from scratch, so they don't have the baggage of that certain brand I don't want to name here obviously. So they're starting from scratch, which means they have an inherent advantage of setting up a great sales and after sales network. Obviously it's small right now, but with time they will grow. But I hope they're able to expand, because that's one hindrance which is going to be there for them, because being a new brand, you don't have that reach to appeal to a larger audience in terms of the geography. So that's something they need to work on. But overall quality, fit, finish and all is good. Not great, there are a lot of places where they can definitely improve, but they are on the right path because overall feel is amazing. And look at this camera, this underbody view, where did that come from? Yeah, somehow this screen, although is a bit distracting because there's no instrument cluster here, it works. It isn't glitchy, it doesn't hang. They've given only physical buttons for the gears, but more physical buttons should have been there. Maybe in the next generation they need to add an instrument cluster, proper instrument cluster. That's the reason they give a heads up display here so that you don't get distracted, but we need more physical buttons. But I'm actually quite impressed by this car in terms of the overall quality and all. It's just that they need to really expand like the sales and service network, and that's what's going to make VinFast amazing in terms of sales. And obviously the car has the potential. It competes with the Mahindra XEV 9S on one side, and there you see the motor spinning its wheels very fast. The motor having so much grunt that the front wheel is obviously spinning like crazy. So in terms of competition, obviously the Harrier EV, great car. The XEV 9S, again great car. But Mahindra is more reliable than Tata. Tata really needs to work on quality, but the specs on the Tata is absolutely crazy. The Harrier EV has some crazy features, but this one has crazy pricing. So I don't know what people are going to do. Are they going to be like, maybe we'll buy the Harrier EV by paying a few lakhs more, because at the end of the day, we're going to take a mortgage wherein we just have to pay 2, 3, 4,000 rupees more per month in terms of EMI. And on that discovery, it's time to end because we have hit a big fat traffic jam here. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon, but before that, let's go through this bump. Okay, and off we go. Wheels spinning, screeching and all those things. Woo-hoo-hoo.